when we last left our associates, the night had brought them a unique and unsettling dream. One with vibrant and violent light, with a glass doll that felt akin to human flesh, and with a figure that they knew to be the gentle father. In the coming morning, everyone was able to wake up in a but it seems that it was too much for the constitution of our dancer, who would need the day to recover after still contending with that fever. It is breakfast, Saturday, June the 29th. And our intrepid young ladies are all together enjoying breakfast and perhaps figuring out what to do for the rest of the day.
Margaret is having coffee and English muffins and wishing she could go back to bed.
Jade is having coffee as well, and a small sandwich, kind of, but she's also reading while eating and sipping at her coffee. But it looks like she's like furiously reading a little bit, and like taking notes here and there in certain parts, and like turning and flipping back to other pages, and yeah.
Clara would also be drinking coffee, because she may or may not have made the mistake of staying up till like far too late, but it's fine. Nobody worry about that. She's alive and awake, and is eating whatever small thing she can get her hands on.
Aurora is sipping on tea. And she's got like some plain toast with a small spread of butter. But she's very pigeon eating almost. It's not like she's not like focused on eating or drinking as much as she's focused on the newspaper clippings that she found last night, just kind of reading over everything and seeing if she can maybe kind of like poking around and see if there's like maybe like another like newspaper around, kind of more distracted by what's around her rather than the food at the table.
So we're obviously taking this to the authorities and going home, right?
I don't...
involved in anything I'm involved with, it's going to be the last thing that you're going to want to do.
Yeah,
You don't have to go with us. I don't think that they're going to find it crazy if we let them know, hey, look, the house was broken into, our friend is missing. Our friend's sister is missing. And we found evidence that there's quite a lot of crime that's happened here.
I mean, if you think that the authorities were some people to be trusted or you know, are able to get the job done, don't you think she would have went to them first?
She did ask us to do it.
And I came out here expecting it to be a thing that's actually in our wheelhouse, but we're none of us particularly, aside from perhaps Clara, adept at this sort of thing, from what I can tell.
Well, you like to do stuff that's not like typical, so wouldn't this be like the best time to have?
Don't go digging into mysteries that clearly drive people to violence. That's not what I do. I'm a socialite. I can raise money for charities, I can fund the arts, I can put on a smashing party. But this... not exactly in my wheelhouse.
Yes, that does make sense. Well, I don't think we should take it to the authorities. Because what if they just, I don't know, brush it under the rug or something? Like, what if we can't trust them?
Or, worse, throw us in a loony bin.
I have no concerns over that happening to me. I think that this is all rather ridiculous.
I think you also forget that we're not in London anymore. It's
No.
not that simple.
It's part of the Empire, dear.
I, for one, am not in a rush to go to the authorities, but if the rest of you are, then by all means, go. I think it might be better if we look into it a little bit more, because we don't really have a whole lot of evidence either. We've got some newspaper clippings.
And a break-in and destruction of property and clearly altered official documents.
And they're likely going to pin at least the first few of those things on us.
I think they would struggle to do so.
Well, so far as anybody else knows, we're the first people to come here in weeks.
Obviously not. All of this food was here before we arrived. And not to mention, reputation goes a long way.
Maybe. This while we look up some stuff, because before Francois wasn't feeling better, we did say we're gonna maybe check out the hospital or something about documents. Maybe you can go to one of the theaters or the clubs nearby. That's fun.
And do what?
I don't know. Hang out? I don't know what people do at clubs. Or the theater sounds fun. What was his name again? The guy who was helping us? Bruno. Bruno did say there was a couple here that, was hiding or something scandalous, so is that interesting to you?
I just don't want to be involved in any of this nastiness any longer than I absolutely have to be.
And nobody's asking you to. She did just say you could go to a club.
Or you can get more wine or drinks that you like. That's a thing. There must be like a different type here in Alexandria.
And also keep in mind that when it comes to things like this, once you're a part of it, there's not really any getting out of it.
And we did all see each other in whomever's dreams, so it seems like we're already kind of in the thick of it. Or maybe not the thick, but like the...
I mean, obviously that wasn't real.
Well, it
Then
was
how do you
if we all
Shared
remembered it.
delusions are a thing. We were all under an awful lot of stress yesterday.
So we would all remember a baby and the gentle father and the rhyme.
I have no idea who the gentle father is. It's just a name that you all gave it.
But you did too, right?
I didn't know the name until it was given.
Oh, Margaret. I think you're already wrapped up in this. So what happens if you, like, go away and something happens to you?
I mean,
Much-
listen, there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. The right way would be to go to the authorities and ask them to get involved and actually take an interest, put pressure on them until they do. The wrong way is to continue to muck about with people who are obviously dangerous, based on what we saw them do to the door and half of the things that they destroyed in the house, and potentially get hurt ourselves. I don't know what this Mansus and Gentle Father and all the nonsense you all are talking about is, but I know that there's a process for this sort of thing. And if the police fail to do something, you bring in private investigators.
You do have a point. How about this? Maybe I go with you to the authorities, and then the other two, and she's gonna look to Clara and Aurora, and go, and maybe you two could do check the other leads, and we
Secure
just
a
go to the
hotel room
authorities.
at the very least.
That too.
I think we
do
can all
agree.
agree we don't want to stay here any longer than we have to.
Not particularly, no.
I'd like to stay somewhere with a door that works properly.
That would be nice. So how about that? And if we trust Bruno, because I think he did say he'd come in the morning, then maybe he drops us off places?
Part of me still doesn't trust him. Most of me still doesn't trust him.
Seem to not trust a lot of people. Not that I'm
Well,
complaining. It's just something I've noticed.
Well, most of the time when people offer to do something for either free or cheaper than they usually do, they don't exactly have the best of intentions.
You and I have very different experiences in life, obviously.
So, if you guys want to, of course. Maybe we get dropped off center of town, and then we walk separate ways to places, just so maybe Bruno doesn't know where we're going.
That feels like the best plan, yes.
Are you okay with walking, Margaret? I'm not sure how often you
course.
do that. Okay. And Aurora, are you happy too?
She takes out a small pack of cigarettes and lights one up. I mean, I'm about as content as a clam. So, but I still think it's a bad idea to go to the authorities. But I'm not going to stop you.
Maybe if we get a bad vibe, we can find a way out, or we can just leave or something. I don't know.
I think it might be best if you go and do your authoritative. Yes, I think it might be worth it for us to go into to go to a library, like I said last night, and poke about, see if we can get any more information, maybe of the things that might contribute to the recent happenings.
So Jade and I will go to the authorities. You two can secure a hotel room and we'll meet at the library.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Yay.
All right. After finishing up breakfast and cleaning up, you all head outside and see that Bruno is already there waiting for all of you. He seems to be leaning against his carriage and writing down on a bit of paper, just scribbling at the moment. He looks up and he says, "Oh, good morning."
Morning.
I noticed that your dancer friend is not with you. Is he all right?
He's having a lie-in.
So much traveling can be hard on the constitution. Yes. So, where shall I be taking you all today?
The center of town, I believe. We'd like to do some exploring.
Very well. Absolutely. He will climb up into his carriage after he helps all of you up into it, and will go ahead and snap the reins and begin taking you all closer to the center of town. Unless anyone has anything they wish to say to him, he will just take you all silently, feeling a little bit of the pressure of things being a little more awkward today.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Resist
Jade
the
is just
urge
reading.
to say anything about his poetry.
Fair enough. So you all are taken to the middle of town, and he drops you off and says, if you wish, I can simply circle about until you are ready to head elsewhere.
It will probably be at least a few hours. Perhaps meet us back at about early afternoon.
Absolutely. If you wish to come and collect me a little bit earlier, I will be over at the El Sheikh Ali Cafe.
Excellent. Thank you for your services, Bruno.
Of course. And he will just get back into the carriage and snap the reins and head on off. So who would like to be first? The authorities?
Sure.
So, those of you heading over to the authorities are able to get in fairly easily. It's bustling. There's not a ton of instant or loud activity. Just several officers and clerks moving from place to place, taking care of paperwork and talking about various goings on. The front desk is manned by a clerk who is currently speaking to a rather tall individual with the general police fez that you see on several of the officers around. He is well groomed and looks like he takes very good care of himself. And with the way that he's standing, he sort of looks like he considers himself to be a Don Juan. However, those of you who have seen people who actually are Don Juans know that he is not.
Okay. One of those. Got it.
Mm-hmm. The actual police building itself is a bit of a circular tower with a pointed roof overlooking the broad street. The building itself is thick brick walls, and the officers are currently all in their summer uniforms and either the red fez or navy blue beret.
I will make my way over to the one who is in charge. And if he doesn't notice us, I'll kind of stand behind him and clear my throat.
As you move closer, he does look up and straighten up a little bit and says, yes, I am Captain Khalil. How can I assist you?
We're here to report a break-in and a missing person.
So much so soon. I do not believe I have ever seen you here, though I cannot say I know all of the people of the Empire. Come, and he will guide you along back to his office for a little bit of privacy in the reporting. Once the offices close, he will move and open up a small tin and say, "Can I offer either of you a cigarette?"
I will take it and slide it into my holder.
Thank you.
He will then take one for himself and light and offer a light for yours before he would light his own.
Accept.
It's a decently well-made cigarette. There aren't a lot of other fillers or anything to go along with the tobacco. It's largely just the tobacco itself, which is apparently quite high quality. So, a break-in and a kidnapping or a missing person, you said?
Missing person. Don't know if she's been kidnapped. We were asked to come here by a friend to look in on her sister while she's away for health reasons. We've been unable to find the sister, but when we arrived last night and our cab dropped us off, we found the house already broken into and rifled through. But it was late, so obviously we couldn't come last night. We had to barricade the door and hope that no one broke in the night.
I understand. And whose abode was it that you were staying in?
Loretta. Forget his name. Humph.
It was Farouk.
Farouk. There we go.
I didn't want to interrupt. I was just like, she'll get it. She'll get it.
Yeah. Loretta Farouk. Miss Loretta Farouk.
The widow Farouk. I see. And he will just be jotting down notes. And do you have any ideas as to who would want to break into her abode and rifle through it?
No, but whoever they are, they're angry at the late doctor.
That is unusual.
They seem to only destroy photos of him.
Angry at the late doctor. He looks to you. Now he seems a little more serious and a little more concerned. Only the photos of the Dr. Farouk, you said?
There was damage to other photos, but those were particularly singled out. Honestly, I knew very little of my friend's life here. I came as a favor. We both did.
Yeah.
I see. It is odd. There was also very recently a bit of vandalism at the Arab graveyard. And he takes a long drag from his cigarette. There was only one grave that was vandalized, though.
The good doctors.
Yes.
Of course.
And who exactly is this missing person? The sister of Madame Farouk?
Yes.
Audrey Leigh Howard. Have you ever met her?
I have not heard that name before, and he will open up his drawer and just begin quickly flipping through his files. Audrey, that name does not come up. No, I apologize.
Do you know if this is random? Do you know if the doctor and the late doctor and Loretta had a child at all?
I did not know them personally, but if you were to check for records of birth, I would check the Egyptian hospital. That is where most of the births take place, especially the ones overseen by Dr. Farouk. He worked there.
So is there anything you can do then?
Well, if you
We should
wish,
warn you, a traveling companion of ours is currently at the house sleeping. He was not feeling well after such a long journey, so please don't arrest him when you find him asleep in one of the beds.
I can have a few of my men go and keep an eye on the house for the time being. Of course, if you all wish to find another hotel to stay the night in, there are a few I can suggest for you, and perhaps those who run it would be willing to give you a decent rate.
That was our next stop, was to find a more suitable place to live. I just don't want I don't want poor Francois ending up in a cell because of a misunderstanding.
Of course. We will make sure to keep an eye on him, and if you wish to go to a different hotel, I would suggest either the Cisa Hotel or Le Metropole.
Excellent. Thank you.
Of course. And if we find out anything more about Miss, and he checks the name he wrote down, Audrey Leigh Howard, we will be sure to include you. I do wish you both a wonderful rest of the time in our city, and I do hope that whatever foulness has taken place at the Farouk estate does not mar your view on it.
Of course. Thank you, Captain.
Of course, madam. And he will rise and move to open the door for both of you to head out.
I will lead the way. As soon as we're out in the sunlight, away from the police ears, I'm like, that wasn't so bad, was it? We even got more information for your investigation.
This is true. I guess.
And someone to watch the house.
Okay, you're right. I guess maybe I was just spooked by the dream and everything connecting, and I figured maybe if I talked too much about it, then, we'd get in trouble.
Just don't bring up the parts that you find spooky. That has nothing to do with the actual crimes that were committed.
But you're gonna think I'm crazy. It probably has nothing to do with any of this. It's just coincidence. Or trauma dream, like you said.
Traumatizing experiences can make groups of people experience all sorts of strange things.
But
I went to a party once with the son of a duchess, and they passed out something on these little crackers, and I'm telling you, at least three of us had some sort of shared dream that night. I don't remember all of it, but I remember all of us waking up and telling the same story. It happens. Now, that wasn't trauma. I think that was some sort of substance.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I know there's definitely things that go bump in the night, but it's okay if you don't believe me, because, Yeah. She's gonna shrug and go, well, I guess let's find a nicer hotel.
We were meeting them at the library, dear. They've already found the hotel, hopefully.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, to the library.
I just didn't mention that to the good captain because, well, our friends wouldn't appreciate it, would they?
Oh, actually, no, this is exciting. To the library.
So, with that completed, we shall take our focus over to our friendly exile and medium. Now, could you please remind me exactly what you were going to first, or were you going to the library first?
They were going to the hotel first, and then
Yes,
we were
I
all
believe our
moving
plan was to find a
Right.
hotel first.
I mean, Aurora wasn't gonna have anything to really do with the hotel. She doesn't really care.
Fair enough.
And so she was probably just gonna look to well, the moment that they were out of earshot, she was probably just gonna look to Clara and shrug and be like, well, a hotel is a hotel. There's a place to sleep on every corner of this town. I'm sure we can find something eventually, but I don't know about you. Knowledge is probably going to help us more in the long run than a expensive, dingy, small place to sleep.
I don't disagree. So where should we go first?
I mean, maybe it might be best if we take a look at, the things that we have on us and see if maybe we can pinpoint a location, or maybe go to a library and see if maybe there's a better map or records of or maybe go to like the hospital and see if we can dig up any of those see if we can dig up any records of any sort. There is a baby in the picture, sort to say.
Yes, but I doubt they're going to let us see the records of them without some way of proving who we are.
Oh, darling, you have nothing to worry about. If I am anything, I am an actress, a woman of the theater, a woman of the arts. I can simply make a performance out of it. Plus, we do have, a couple of scraps here and there that could potentially play a part in us getting a hold of a birth record. Yeah. Do have and then she's gonna start pulling out all of the papers that we found just kind of around the house when we were poking around the night before. We can say that we are dear friends of she'll pull out the record that states that the sister was the mother of the child.
Yes, that that it was forged to say that it was Madam and Dr. Farouk, but it was you were able to see that it was Audrey was listed as the mother.
Mm-hmm. Could easily say that we just need to pick up a copy of a birth certificate for our dear friends that they lost theirs, and they just asked us to swing by and see if we could pick them up. But I will follow your lead. Whatever you want to do.
I'm not sure exactly how much you're going to like the way that I tend to do things.
I think that you underestimate me, dear.
Well, then, let's go to the hospital, see what we can find.
Let's go. It'll be the bee's knees. And I think we make our way to the hospital.
Yeah.
All right. Heading over to the Egyptian hospital, you're able to find it fairly easily. It's a broad building covered with rows of windows that to both the paranoid Clara Castillo and the touched Aurora Roberts look like eyes almost. The floors are patterned tile with potted palms, poinsettias in windowsills, and the smell of coffee constantly being brewed for the people who work here. You can see that there are several people being taken about in wheelchairs. And you can see that there is a number of nurses and doctors running about, though there is one who seems to be at the front desk currently speaking to a attendant, who is a kind of squat, shorter man, a bit wider, especially in the belly, with a well-groomed and fashioned mustache.
Okay. So, how do we go about this?
Well, first we'd have to figure out where the records are kept, otherwise I can't exactly do much. Can't really search an entire hospital, especially not during daylights.
Oh, sure. Okay. Short, stout man. Solomon, any indication of whether or not this gentleman is married?
You do not see any sort of wedding band or anything on him. Nothing to signify that he is married now. Other than perhaps being married to his work.
Okay. So, I mean, we could, just as easily ask where we can go in order, or find out where to get a birth record from. I'm sure that this gentleman would be more than willing to give it up to a couple of young lasses.
Well, we could certainly give that a shot.
Yo, college try. I'm no sweet talker, but I've been known to pull some things out of my mouth when it is needed. So let's see. Aurora kind of puts her fan away and stomps out kind of make sure that she's looking as put together as somebody who may have had a haunting dream and the trauma or post-traumatic stress or whatever it is. She's gonna throw herself together and she's going to approach the gentleman and very gently lay her arm on the counter, her very dainty hand just gently resting upon what I assume is like an oak desk of some sort.
He looks up to you and says, "Oh, my apologies. How can I assist you? I am Dr. Nasser."
Doctor, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. My associate and I, we're wondering if there was a place where we can possibly get a copy of some birth records.
May I ask why?
Well, you see, my niece, her celebrating her birthday a little bit later, and she's at the age where she's starting to ask questions, and well, she was adopted, and we're kind of making her a scrapbook. And one of the things that we wanted to see if we could get our hands on is just a birth certificate. That's all. To kind of give her the story of how she came to be a member of the Roberts family.
Go ahead and give me a roll. Let's go ahead and call it a stagecraft roll, because you're really putting up, embracing being an actor.
Oh, yes. It is I, the professional actress.
Well, you have to put on an act for your
77. And I succeed on the roll, and it is doubled.
Hell yeah.
That is an astonishing success. Very well done. As you are giving him this tale, he is basically hanging on to every word. You have got him wrapped around your little finger, just fully into the story as a whole. He says, "Oh, I understand completely. I would be very happy to assist. Do you have just any birth records would do?
Any of the birth records that you might be able to pull. And then she's going to kind of pull out the one that they have just to check the name of the kid.
The name of the child was Gwendolyn.
For a babe named Gwendolyn, I forget what the last name is.
Farouk.
Give us $1 every time we ask you what that last name is.
I'll give you something.
Oh wow. We're looking for the birth records of a babe named Gwendolyn Farouk.
He just looks puzzled for a moment. The daughter of Madame and Dr. Farouk?
Yes. Unfortunately, we had to take her in. I'm sure that you are aware of the unforeseen circumstances of what happened to the great doctor.
Oh, you are the madam's friends. I had heard that she
Yes.
was hoping to write to some associates.
Yes. We are taking the babe in, kind of giving her back the roots of why she is a part of my family now. Our family. This is my dearest cousin who is helping me put together this little scrapbook for her.
I see. Though I am a bit confused as to why she would go to you and not to her sister.
Sister is preoccupied, unfortunately.
But she was just here.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Miss Lee Howard, she was just here recently.
How recently?
Just yesterday, actually. It was during the waning hours of the afternoon.
Did she say anything about little Gwendolyn?
No, not about Gwendolyn. She asked about her own childbirth, a rather sad affair, actually. She had come hoping to get assistance from Dr. Farouk, given trust and filial bond, of course. Unfortunately, not even he could aid the babe that she held within her. It came out stillborn.
Right. Did she maybe mention where she was going? We've been looking around, we've been kind of looking for her for a little bit. I know that it seems a bit odd, seeing as we're taking in her dear niece. But we've been looking for her. None of us have been able to get a hold of her.
She did not say where she was going. However, she left in such a rush, and she seemed quite agitated. Having to tread on old wounds is never easy for anyone.
Mm.
But she left in such a rush that she dropped something. And he is going to he will lead you back to his office and open up a number of files, and he will give you all both this. It looks to be a telegram. Specifically one that seems to be talking about ships.
Are there any docks around here?
Yes, there are. The docks actually, the Western Harbor itself is actually one of the largest harbors in northern Africa.
Well, cousin, I think we might have a lead as to where our darling friend has disappeared to.
Certainly does seem that way, now doesn't it?
So about that birth certificate.
Ah, yes, of course. And he will just shake himself out of the rather odd little melancholic stupor and will go and grab another birth certificate. He will specifically grab the birth certificate for Gwendolyn. He stops for a moment and says, I know that perhaps it might not pertain to Gwendolyn, but perhaps there were notes that Dr. Farouk made of each of his procedures. I think that perhaps so that when Gwendolyn meets her aunt, she understands how carefully to tread. It would be good if I go ahead and pass those on to you. They were left in his office after he was found passed on, the poor man.
That would be very much appreciated, Doctor.
Of course. And he will go ahead and open up a different file and pass on this. I wish you both the absolute best of luck in finding Miss Lee Howard. I understand the state she left in was quite treacherous. I just hope that she is alright.
You and I both.
Oh, and if Gwendolyn is still to continue her studies at the university, do please tell her I said hello and that I apologize for the fact that her mother had to leave for Jerusalem.
Righto. We definitely will keep your well wishes in mind next time we see her.
Of course. Good health to both of you.
And you as well.
And if you do find Miss Lee Howard, do inquire about how she takes care of her skin. I'm a dermatologist, and for someone who is actually the older sister from Madame Farouk, she couldn't look a day over 30.
Interesting.
Very interesting. We will definitely ask her what her secrets are. Lots of cosmetologists and dermatologists are coming out with bright new and shiny medicines to make even the dullest of lasses look sparkly every now and again.
Continue to keep up with my Western associates.
Good day to you, Doctor.
And to you. And as you all you are able to get on out of the hospital with little to no issue.
Lady of the
if
stage
you-
and Lady of the stage.
Yeah, if you two could you please give me intelligence checks?
Intelligence
I
in this
sure
house?
can.
With these brain cells? You're asking a lot. Yep.
Clara, is that a success for you?
God, no.
Unfortunate.
I have an intelligence of 30.
Yeah, I have an intelligence of 60. Two brain cells to rub together, truly the iconic duo.
Very well. If you are going to continue along with that, then you are just focused on getting on out of the hospital as quickly as possible with as little issue as possible.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to see where our cards are.
They should be pinned in the references channel.
Okay. I would actually I'm trying to see if I can make it work. We traded out the Sun and Rags for our new door, right?
You still have the Sun and Rags. All of the cards are still there, they just have different dice on them now.
Okay. I would like to pull the 1d6 for the Sun and Rags to re-roll my 8. We are in such a lowly place, and being surrounded by a lot of death, possibly. And with the newfound information that we've gotten, I think that Aurora would be a bit more in thought and in tune with the world kind of around her. I'm not, again, super familiar on cult simulator lore. So
It's all right. It's all right. It's all just focused on imagery and pulling from the desolation and the death within the card of the Sun and Rags is very easy to pull on here.
Death. We're in a hospital. There's constantly death. I'm pulling.
That's true. Go ahead and roll.
65. Still not quite enough. Oh well.
Unfortunate, but since it was a failure, it will continue to stay at the Sun and Rags.
Perfect.
So, as you are able to make it your way out easily, no trouble whatsoever.
It was rather bizarre. First of all, he was more than willing to give up just a little bit of information because of a sad sap story.
Well,
Pathetic. I mean, how loving and kind and sweet and whatever. But we have a lead. We have a couple of leads.
we also learned that there was something horribly wrong with the birth.
Yes.
Like, incredibly so.
Or what appeared to be horribly wrong with the birth.
Well, there were two.
Mm-hmm. And apparently, Miss Bright Bushy and over 30s looking pretty speck and spiffy herself.
Yes, that is rather interesting.
You think she might be at the docks?
It's entirely possible. PM East. Today's what, the 29th?
It is the 29th of June, yes.
Cool.
Yes. I think we should probably go find a random hotel now for the other two, and that way they don't have a complete fit.
Yes, I suppose we should do what we initially said we were going to, but I think this was far more important, far more enlightening.
And Same here. Now, let's go find a random hotel and grab a couple of rooms. And go to the library after that.
Okay. Are you looking for a very nice hotel, or are you looking for something a little cheaper?
I don't think Aurora particularly cares. I think she's just gonna look for the first thing they can find.
Very well. The first one you were able to find is a rather cheerful second-rate hotel with Venetian blinds all across the windows. It's adjacent to the beautiful Nueja Gardens, there's lush topiary, shady palms, lakes, geese, heron, all about. And you can see that several people are still sitting outside with water pipes and a good book, or playing piquet with cigars, or watching Mahmoudia Street roll by.
Seems like it might fit Princess's taste.
Who's to say what'll fit her taste?
I don't know.
So long as the people here aren't going to actively try to kill me, I'll be alright.
You have a lot of people who are looking to kill you?
Yeah, it depends on the city I'm in.
You know, oddly enough, me too. Got into a bit of trouble with the law myself every now and again, but you know.
Heading inside, you see that it is currently that the front desk is manned by a late 20s gentleman, Caucasian, with short sandy blonde hair and these bright twinkling gray eyes. He is in a suit that is middling, a little shabby, like he's been running around a lot, but he's still just all smiles whenever he is greeting people. And as you get closer to the desk, he stands up and offers a hand and says, "Welcome, my name is Mr. Jesse Lewis. Pleasure to meet you." And he is very obviously an American.
Charmed, Miss Lewis. Aurora Roberts, and she'll offer the bright young man a hand.
To which he will kiss the knuckles of. "A pleasure to meet you, Miss Roberts."
Listen, darling, we were looking to acquire a couple of rooms for the night. We were wondering if your lovely establishment had anything available.
Well, absolutely. Let me just go ahead and check my records, and he will just grab his book and move to basically sit on the front of the desk, very casual as he's flipping through. He says, "Why, we have a number of suites in the second floor. How many rooms will you be needing?"
I'm thinking either 2 or 3.
2 or 3, yes.
2 or 3. I can make either number work, depending on how cozy y'all want to be.
I'm always looking to get nice and cozy, darling.
Well, that makes 2 of us. And he will give you a wink. But I can go ahead and pencil you down for 3 rooms, and then, of course, if you don't need the third one, you can just go ahead and tell me, and I will take it off your bill.
Fantastic.
I will ask for payment on the morning of each night spent here, of course.
Of course. And we greatly appreciate it. Now, just out of curiosity, what are your rates?
We have our luxurious suites run about £2 per night. I think it's fairly reasonable compared to the Cecil Hotel. Rather uppity. Them over there want £6 a night, and I think that's just robbery.
£2 a night sounds quite peachy. Thank you, love.
Of course. Clara, give me a scoundrel roll.
Cool.
You little scoundrel.
Oh, come on.
You can take my house, the rising sun. Oh, wait, no, wrong show.
Unfortunate. Are you going to leave it as is, or are you going to try to change that?
I think I'm gonna try to change it. Where do we have D6s sitting?
Still have the one from I almost called
You
it the
have
red room.
You have the one in the Sun and Rags, 2 of them in the Red Grail, and 2 in the Lionsmith.
The question is, how do I make any of these work? Well, I think, let's be honest, with the way this guy is acting, the Red Grail just makes the most sense, because he's clearly very, over the top.
That's fair. Yeah.
So... Alright, it's a success.
We love to see it.
Yes. Okay. You can tell by the way he's speaking, it is a mix of an act and just generally how he is. But you also believe that in your travels, moving from place to place, you know the look of someone who's running from something. Or has run from something, at least.
Oh no, that's quite interesting. Mr. Lewis, you said your name was, correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
Interesting. Well, this isn't exactly the place for discussions of that kind, but I believe we may share something in common, and I'd like to converse with you in private, either later tonight or in the coming days, if possible.
Either should be doable. I will be here until the wee hours, personally.
Aurora looks scandalized.
Oh, don't worry, it's not anything like that.
Can't gasp.
I think it might be time to meet up with our companions. If you could agree with me.
I believe so.
All right. So, after securing your rooms for the evening, you're able to make your way over to the Egyptian University, where the library is, around about the same time as the others, just because of walking distance. And the university itself is a rather large and somewhat opulent looking campus. It is definitely old. It is a place that has a lot of history to it. It almost looks like a castle built with just studded with arched windows. There's a nice garden across the front that sort of snakes through the campus as a whole, and you see that there are just several students of all kinds of ages running about to and fro.
How lovely.
Have we all gotten there at the same time?
Yes, walking distance has made it so you all arrived at around the same
Perfect.
time.
Jade is just like taking all of this in. She went to school, but this is, you went to school, but when you go to another person's school, you're like, wow, I want to see
Especially
what they
one
have.
in another continent.
Yeah, so she's just like, wow, and look at the architecture, and she's like taking little sketches of stuff and like seeing if, how some buildings like in the cement work or the stone work, they'll put like years. So she's like looking into if they have those, if there's any, and writing it down, and like she's just like taking it all in, but trying to also not be like,
Not be a tourist.
yeah, but also not be a tourist and try not to bump into Margaret while she's walking.
Fair enough.
There's definitely moments where she'll like stop and maybe Margaret keeps walking and she's just like looking around and like leaning into stuff and sketching things, and then she'll be like, oh, and then she'll like go catch up with her. And
Oh yeah, Margaret is delightfully nonplussed, but she went to Cambridge, so
oh, same. Oh yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, you all are able to arrive at around the same time, and you see that there are just all kinds of people just walking about, including several people that are likely either teachers, and one person who seems to be leading a number of people in suits who are asking questions about the place that address her as the dean.
Great. I would say once Jade definitely like takes note of this person, but she's also like keeping an eye out for the for like Aurora and Clara. So I'd say once she sees them, she's gonna kind of like walk a little bit faster to them, but try not to like leave Margaret behind at all. And then kind of wave and go, did everything go smoothly with you all?
Well, you could certainly say that. We found some interesting things out.
while looking for a hotel.
Prior to looking for the hotel, but yes.
Which hotel did you pick?
The hotel's name was Le Metropole.
Little place called the Le Metropole.
That was one of the ones that was recommended.
Officer we spoke to, or I believe he was a higher captain we spoke to, seemed to actually take the news we said not pretty good, but better than
Seriously?
Yes, seriously, but not planning to throw us into a loony bin, and said they would have watch on the house and possibly do like a search or something, like search out the house or something.
We obviously warned them that Francois was there so that he doesn't end up locked in a cell.
Yeah. He did also say that the late doctor's grave was recently what's the word? Ransacked. So I figured that's something else we could
Vandalized.
Vandalized. There we go. What did you guys find out?
Well, apparently our beloved friend Audrey Leigh Howard was in town as recently as last night.
Oh.
Really?
Went to the hospital. Spoke with a new dear doctor friend. Managed to get some clues as to where she might kind of be, or at least conversations that she was having. He slid us one of a telegram that fell out of her wallet, and a couple of other things as well.
Can I see?
And Aurora will take the couple of forms that she was given, including the birth certificate and the and the notes from the doctor in the telegram and kind of present them to Margaret and Jade.
The birth certificate form that he gave you is literally exactly the same as the other one. The one you got from the Farouk estate is a copy.
Wonderful.
Arrow D. Data mouse? What? My guess good as yours. 7 p.m. Eastern 30th. This is so weird. P.S. Still don't see why he had to leave the house. So... Huh. And it says the sender... I can't say that. Polyphemus London.
Polyphemus.
There it goes. Polyphemus London. Huh.
Is that a name I recognize, being from London?
It does not. It must be someone outside of your general circle.
Mm.
Another thing that would be noticed by Jade, just looking at this so intensely, the receiver's name. It is not addressed specifically to Audrey Lee Howard. It is addressed to Mademoiselle Louis.
That's what that... I was like, who's Millie? Mademoiselle T.
And it's simply A.
Hmm.
I'm willing to bet that's Audra.
Yes, but I wonder what this means. Well, today's the 29th, so at the very least we know whatever this is must be happening tomorrow. But I can't make heads or tails of what this means. Question, Solomon.
Answer.
Do we all have a map of the town, or...
Yeah, you generally have a general map of Alexandria.
Okay. Cool. I didn't want to stare at the map and try to guess stuff, and then I'm like, wait, we actually don't have a map. Okay.
Yeah, you do. You were given a little map.
And then the other note is the one that says lead, correct?
Yeah, artifact.
Or lead. It's exhausted intermuscular injection. I think reading through the second one, could I do a medicine or like pharmacy roll along with it to try to understand it even more for like the acronyms that are there?
Absolutely, go right ahead.
Perfect.
Anyone who wants to do so can do so as well.
I think I'll do it. That would be a mess. Okay.
So I succeeded on my pharmacy roll.
Well done. And is Jade still going to roll?
Yeah, my my screen froze. Here we go. I did not succeed at all.
Unfortunate. Are you going to leave it as is?
I'm gonna try to re-roll that 10th place die.
And what are you going to be calling upon to do so?
What is on the red die? Let's see.
The Grail has several dice, all of your D4s, two of your D6s, and 3 of your D8s.
One of the
Ooh.
D6s from the Red Grail has been spent.
Oh, that's correct. I will mark that.
I think I'll use a D4 from the Grail card. And I'm pulling upon the women that are in the bottom left.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, give me what I need, please. There we go. Roll.
Ooh.
Ooh!
That is an astonishing success. Very well done.
That's what I was hoping for. Great, because it's a
Let me
15, so any of the other numbers wasn't going to work.
So, looking at it, both of you are able to see the abbreviation morph is likely meaning morphine.
Mm-hmm.
Scope, it could be scopolamine, possibly. BP is blood pressure, that kind of thing. It just generally seems that this was a very traumatic procedure, and from what you know of what he's done, there was a cesarean section, so it was initially already traumatic.
Gotcha.
One thing that specifically stands out is apparently he used 13 times the normal dose of morphine to keep her sedated.
This was not. This is not normal. And was this on Audrey?
Yeah.
Why
The
does
last comment does say, "God forgive me, Audrey will not."
Goodness. And
I had to use chains to hold her down.
It seems
And-
like her bodily fluids were burning through everything else.
And they took one of her children. Well, obviously she's the one who broke in.
I believe so.
it also says, like, I mean, you would think you wouldn't have to notate this, but it said, like, the baby that survived and was taken, it put human at the end, which means, like, we're human. There would be no reason to have to write that the baby was human. And clearly, we see that this is inhuman. This is
Well, considering that
this is fascinating.
her
but also-
blood was apparently hot enough to, well, let's see the comparison here, likened to lava, which is not exactly a normal thing that you'd compare blood to, now is it?
But, I mean, look at this. Fetus B with L on the way home.
Who's L?
Loretta.
Loretta.
Oh,
So presumably the second one is Gwendolyn.
Possibly Gwendolyn.
Which likely means that Audrey doesn't know about Gwendolyn.
Well, if she doesn't know, then why would she be angry at Dr. Farouk? She broke into that house looking for something. I think she knows. Or at the very least suspects.
Well, it seems that she is aware of the first child, the one that didn't make it.
Yes, but it's been years, and this has never been a problem until now. one would assume she's found out that they took her second child.
Do we know where Gwendolyn is? To make
Well,
sure
she was
she's
studying at the university.
Yes, she's a student here.
Mm-hmm.
We may want to talk to the dean about her. She seems to be a rather
Accomplished.
accomplished student, yes.
Don't mind helping out with them at all.
Also, this is an out-of-character question for you, Solomon. So we were able to draw the connection between the postcard image, which is an image of Kronos. Would the names Polyphemus and Daedalus also be able to have similar, like, we'd be able to potentially recognize those names from myth?
You could definitely recognize the names from myth, yes.
All right, cool.
You know, her grant was from a mysterious benefactor. Solomon.
Yes.
Could I make some sort of a roll to see what I know about the Curia? So it's a Welsh organization of scholars and academics.
I would say yes. Give me a roll for widely read at disadvantage, meaning that is your skill is 10 lower for this roll.
Okay. I would like to see if I can fix that.
Very well. What are you going to try to call upon?
I would like to call upon one of the D4s from the Red Grail. I may not have been a part of this society, but I am a part of high society, which tends to be a lot of well-bred and educated English folk. So I would imagine that there's at least a chance that I got to run into people from this sort of society before at a party.
Very well. Go ahead.
And I'm swapping out my first die, by the way.
Of course.
Damn. Nope. Still didn't get it. It was a 44. I'm 4 over.
Thankfully, the die...
45, not 44.
Of course.
45.
Thankfully, the die will remain where it is on the Red Grail. The name does not ring anything specific to you other than the fact that you've heard it maybe once before, hearing about some expedition that was being funded by them that seemed like poppycock to you. You're searching for a ship that went missing.
Hmm. I don't suppose any of you know anything about this Curia, would you?
Could I roll?
I would allow a widely read roll.
Cool.
Also
And
at disadvantage.
there we go. What is my... Okay, perfect. Oh, I got exactly the number.
Even with disadvantage?
Oh no! With disadvantage, I'm 10 over.
Would you like to try to fix that?
Yeah, sure. Let me look at the other cards. what is left on? Okay. The Lionsmith. Let's see, for society. For any. Okay. Maybe I'd like to pull the. Ooh, maybe a D12? Have we rolled the D12 yet? No?
No, all of your dice have been smaller numbers. The larger dice are still where they lay.
Oof. Okay. I will try the D12 that's in Door in the Eye, and I kind of want to pull like the shadow / the books situation, because it's a scholar situation, but she like faintly possibly knows about it.
Fair enough. Go ahead and roll.
Whew.
On the Watchman.
Huh? Okay. One deed. Don't fail me now. Well. I forgot to type roll.
Mark 1, 1d12.
1d. Five. Okay, so 50.
That is enough. You have heard of the Curia. They are a group that is made up largely of businessmen and investors and people who know the right kind of people. And you know that they have interests within not only the Empire and the world that you know, but in the secret histories and the Mensis, the House Without Walls. The Dean is currently speaking to a few investors, though it seems that a number of students have taken them off her hands. So if they wish to speak to the Dean about Gwendolyn or perhaps access to the library, there is an opening.
Alright, well, which one of us seems the least out of place here? And I'll look right at Jade.
I do enjoy schools. Or, well, yeah, and books and stuff. I don't mind talking to the Dean, but maybe someone should come with me just in case, because...
I'll go with you.
We weren't going to
I
send
went to
you all
college.
alone.
I said I'll go with you. I went to university.
Oh, okay, perfect. So maybe we can say they were like, traveling from another school and just like talk. I don't know.
We could just say that we're interested in Gwendolyn's research. We're hoping to have a discussion with her, but we're having a hard time getting in touch with her. We could say that we're from that society we were just talking about.
Yes, the Curia, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
How good are you at putting on a show?
Not much. No. Stating chapters on books and
Maybe I'll introduce us and then let you take over when it comes time to talk about the academics.
Yes. That'd be perfect.
All right, I'm gonna walk after where the Dean was.
All right, heading on over to the Dean.
What is the Dean's name? Do we know?
You do not know the Dean's name. But she is a older Egyptian woman, a bit squatter as well. She has her hair done up fairly tight, but not like buzzed or cut too short or anything. And she wears a very matronly black and deep purple ensemble with a black shawl and a set of gold earrings and gold necklace.
She's still surrounded by dudes asking questions.
She is not. She has pawned them off on student aides.
Excuse me, Madam Dean.
She turns and says, yes, how may I assist you?
Hello. Lovely to meet you. My name is Margaret, and this is my colleague Jane. Jade, we were hoping to have a discussion with Hold on, she's not hesitating. I'm hesitating because
Gwendolyn.
Thank you, Miss Gwendolyn Farouk. Is she here?
Miss Farouk. Unfortunately, she is still on her way back here from a recent trip to Cairo.
Well, we're
And
on loan from.
She
sorry.
looks to you, and then she looks to Jade, and just does a little double take. And excuse me, is your last name Warner?
Yes.
And she just, her face lights up, and she says, "Are you the daughter of Mott Warner? That is your mother's name."
Yes, actually. Do you know? Well, I mean, clearly you know her. You just said her name.
I have been a very fanatical follower of hers, if you'll forgive the term, ever since she released the monograph Expressivist Critical Views of Continental Philosophies. Please, I would be honored if you would shake my hand. And she extends her hand to you. She looks to be very interested in you and your mother's work.
Jade looks so uncomfortable, and is looking to Margaret, but then looking back to this woman and like holding her hand out. It's a pleasure to meet someone interested in my mother's work. If you asked her, she would think that no one was interested in her work ever since she's been with father. But if you ever want, you can, well, if you're free, you can always come over for tea and talk. My mother loves to talk, and she misses Alexandria a lot.
I would be delighted the next time I am in London. But please, while Gwendolyn is not here, I would be happy to assist however I can. I believe she actually left me in some of her notes in my care. They are just back in my office. If you wish, I could also perhaps see if the librarian would be willing to let you check out some of the books she was looking at, or to look at the library as a whole.
That'd be incredibly helpful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. And the library is just third building on the left, just the second set of double doors. I will be right back. I will go and collect Gwendolyn's notes for you. You can spend as long as you like in the library, though I ask that around dinner time we will be closing. So if you could vacate the premises around then, so that way we may shut her up, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Understood. And it's a pleasure to meet you. I will let my mother know about you.
And it's an absolute delight to meet you as well. And she has basically forgotten that Margaret exists.
I hate to interrupt, but we didn't get your name.
Oh, my apologies. I just got starstruck. Heraclea Hosnani.
Lovely to meet you.
And you. And she will just give a small nod and a bright smile to Jade before heading off to her office to collect the notes.
I'm gonna look at Jade, both of my eyebrows are gonna go up. Well, you didn't need me at all. Just had to walk by.
I've never had that happen to me before. Maybe I need to move to Alexandria.
Certainly seem to have a vested interest in things here.
While we're waiting, could Clara and Aurora please roll me intelligence?
I'm real good at this. Holy shit.
Oh, I don't know who rolled what.
I'm assuming mine was the first one.
I think the first one will just be whoever rolled, like, asked the bot for a die roll first. So I think the first one was Aurora.
Oh, is it being weird? Because on my end, mine is first.
Yeah, but on my end, mine is first.
All right, cool. Either way, one of us got an astounding success, the other failed.
Well, for whoever got that success, as you're just waiting for Jade and Margaret to come back, you hear a few little bits and pieces of conversations, largely ones talking about strange dreams. Apparently, the odd dreams are not solely localized to those staying within the Farouk estate. And you also hear one odd term, though you're not sure from where it comes, is the Company of Lights. And there's a third term that comes out, but you can't quite catch all of it. You just hear something that sounds akin to kites. Kites. And it is about that time that Margaret and Jade return.
It seems like Gwendolyn went to Cairo and is on her way, so we won't be able to speak. But the dean is going to give us access to the library and books that Gwendolyn was reading and some of her notes, so that's good.
Lovely.
I think we have to leave the library by around dinner time, because that's when it closes.
I do hope we won't have to spend that much time here.
Hopefully not. Might be worth going in and doing a little bit of poking around in the library, though.
Question, Solomon.
Answer.
The dean said she was coming back to where we were, or...
She was going to meet you at the library with the notes.
Okay, perfect. Well, to the library? Jade's gonna look like contained excitement. Like she's already kind of like, she's like already gonna walk away if no one answers quick enough.
Yes, of course. Let's go.
At this point, it is around 2 p.m. It's been a bit of a busy day walking to and from different parts of the city. Is anyone still at risk of fascination? I believe Miss Warner was.
I am.
Could you please roll me determination so we don't forget to do that?
Determination. That's just rolling a D100, correct?
That is just what D100 against your determination set.
Copy. I failed.
Would you like to try to change that, or are you going to leave it as is?
I think I want to leave it as is. I want to see what happens.
All right. As you are going to push your way into the library, you open the doors and there are books upon books upon books, just absolutely everywhere, and you have full reign of this place, along with the intense feeling that you got from being recognized and from all that is going on around you. You feel unique sort of joy. And I would like you to mark down in the first line of the fascination tract, bright as the stars. And you're at 1 level of fascination.
Oh, I'm at 2 now.
You got rid of the first one last time, so...
I got 2 last time, and I got rid of 1.
You got rid of 1, so now you're at 1. You were at risk of 1, and now you're just at 1. You were at 2 risks, you got rid of 1 risk, and then when I called for you to test against this risk, you failed. So now you're at technically 1 full level of fascination.
Oh, so bright light?
Bright as the stars.
Bright as the stars. I'm intrigued.
Somebody's got to balance this out by getting dread.
Yes, please.
So, with full run of the library, I would like to know what exactly everyone is trying to look for specifically. You have been given a small list. The books that Gwendolyn largely were looking at were books about specifically the lighthouse of Alexandria. And about the history of Alexandria as a whole. However, if you have any other sorts of little phrases or specific subjects you want to look into, feel free, and I will let you roll for that.
I want to start cross-referencing some of the odd names and things that have come up that we know are from mythology. With the actual tales. I want to see how they all kind of link together.
Very well.
I'd like to start poking into maybe the more popular, I guess, religions or religious practices of the people of Alexandria, and see
Very
if
well.
we can kind of maybe if any big girl words pop up that seem like they would fit into the weird things that we've kind of come across.
Okay. Miss Warner, Miss Castillo.
Laura is as out of her element as possible right now.
Oh, so is Aurora, don't get me wrong. I got 0, nothing, absolutely jack dilly nothing in Wide Red. But I'm gonna pretend that I'm smart.
Yeah, at least you've got some intelligence. Clara doesn't even have that.
So, Miss Warner.
I think I'm gonna look into Barrow Deep. Whatever that is.
Where did you see that, if I may ask?
Oh, that's on the Telegram.
The list of ships.
A list of ships.
Yeah.
Like modern ships that are coming into the harbor.
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna think about what I'm gonna look into.
I mean, that's also the source of one of the names that I'm looking at, so...
Okay. I think I'm gonna just keep looking into what Gwendolyn was looking into then.
Very well. So you'll be looking into the lighthouse of Alexandria.
Yes.
Intelligence checks from everyone, please. Warner, you'll be doing yours with advantage because of your fascination opening yourself to more information.
Hype.
I succeed.
Alrighty.
I also succeed.
And is Clara just standing around looking cool while these nerds do nerd shit?
Yeah, pretty much.
Fair enough.
Yep, succeed.
Okay. So, we'll start off with...
It can help me reach the books on the high shelves.
Yes. Lady Wyndham. The names generally just sort of seem to be largely Greek in fashion. Cronus being, of course, the Titan of Time, Father of the Gods.
Who ate his kids. Polyphemus
children.
was a giant who ate men.
Yep. And Daedalus, if I remember right, he was a craftsman.
Yeah, it wasn't.
He was.
Yeah, craftsman, architect.
Yes, Daedalus, grand craftsman, symbol of wisdom, knowledge, and power. Father of Icarus.
And Wheatus was used in a lot of Greek legends too. It was a pseudonym.
Indeed, which might give a little more inclination as to that telegram that Audrey received.
Mm-hmm. Makes me wonder if Daedalus is actually the name of a ship, or if it's a what do you call it?
Another pseudonym.
A pseudonym for a different ship.
Very well. Miss Roberts, you are looking around and unsure exactly what to look into. Except for then, generally, you remember hearing something earlier today and wondering perhaps maybe something has to do with these dreams or these lights you keep hearing about.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the dreams you don't get too much aside from some saying that dreams could be the entrance to another world, or messages from angels or demons. The lights, however, when you hear about the Company of Lights, there are a few mentions across dubious counts. Company of Lights is often seen as another term for a fulgent, which is some sort of grand immortal being connected to an entity known as the Lantern, which you know from your explorations into the information within the Mantis. The Lantern is a sort of aspect.
And you said there might be some direct correlation between the two?
Just the fact that it's been mentioned so casually in conversations you've overheard, it's interesting that there seems to be more and more talk about this, especially since some people have said that they feel the Company of the Lights in their dreams.
Would I have ever, in my days as a medium, would I've ever felt the comfort of these lights as well?
Some, but more often than not, you felt a different sort of solace that comes from the melancholy of winter, of that cold that surrounds death.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since not all the times that you've been on stage and interacting with spirits, and you haven't always been faking. Sometimes you were actually channeling the dead, and their cold left a mark on you.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Warner,
Mm-hmm.
you find a book called Alexandria, A History. That seemed to be the main thing that Miss Farouk worked her way through. One moment. There you are.
Perfect. Wow, okay. Fall of the Lantern.
Hey, Clara, please just give me a D100 roll.
Oh no, I don't like the sound of that.
Okay.
He'll make a note.
I have indeed made a note.
You know, Clara, did you notice that either this telegraph is almost a year old or it was post-dated by 2 months?
Yes, I did. It is quite odd. Especially since it seems to... My guess would be refer to something happening tomorrow. I suppose any time within the last nearly a year, depending on how old it actually is.
If it's a year old, it would have been about something that had happened the day before it was sent. Possibly. How strange. Might not be a terrible idea to look into the telegraph company where this was supposedly received. Figure out why the dates are so off and when she picked it up. If it was in the last few days, then we'll know it's recent and that this was probably intentional. If they don't remember, could very well have been from last year and we're just looking at outdated information.
Certainly seems like it's worth looking into.
I find the recurring theme of eating people troublesome.
Mainly. That's certainly something going on. I don't quite like it.
As you all are still working through the books, mainly Miss Warner just poring over the books she was given, the dean steps into the library and just taps Margaret's shoulder and says, I hate to interrupt Miss Warner, but when she reaches a stopping point, could you please give her these notes? And she will pass on a series of somewhat messy, but still short notes from Gwendolyn.
I will take them. Thank you.
Of course.
As Jade is getting deeper and deeper into this deep studying, you can see she's getting more comfortable, but more comfortable as in she has her legs crossed in her chair. She's definitely doing things that's a little bit less, you would say, publicly okay for ladies, less ladylike, I would say. She's definitely rolled her sleeves up a little bit and she's leaning on the table, flipping through the books, biting her pen a little bit. Definitely not as much as not put together, but put together way she's been this entire time. She's in her element.
Fair enough.
That makes one of us.
It seems here this lighthouse was related to, I don't know, they're saying here that besides it guiding the sea, it also guided the imagination. And it's funny that they relate it to a lantern in a way, because when I believe there was an attack, what it says here, they called it the Fall of Lantern, or let me go back to that page. Yeah, Fall of the Lantern. And I don't know. That's what's sticking out most, but it said they worship this, it took on its own spiritual life. I'm wondering why she studied so deep into this, and then
I might have an answer for you. She was obsessed with it. I'll pass the glass artifact over.
Jade is going to take this as well and then be like, oh my goodness, and like go deeper into studying as she reads the document.
I mean, it's not surprising that people would call it a lantern. I mean, before the advent of, and I'll kind of gesture at the lights, electricity, that's really what it was. It was a large, glorified lantern.
Really, what? It's... Now, you may call me crazy, and this may all be banana oil or poppycock or whatever, but it looks like it's more than just us that were having weird dreams here. We could see it here. She's dreaming of this lighthouse, and it's... Maybe it's just this town, or the city, or this... Maybe it's just Alexandria. Well, it couldn't be just like Alexandria, because I experienced dreams when I was at home. But in this moment...
Well, according to these notes, it may also be lead poisoning.
That seems much more likely.
Okay. But does lead poisoning... Because now we know who her mother is at this point. Does lead poisoning make the blood burn through whatever it burnt through and make her strong as whatever and make... There's more happening here than just lead poisoning or trauma dreaming or... I don't know. There's more happening here than just what's we see on the outside.
Until someone can provide me with a feasible explanation, I think I'm going to go with what seems the most likely.
That is understandable. So what did you all gather?
You know. I looked into Greek myth, reread some of the classics. There's a troubling pattern of beings that eat people. Kronos, Polyphemus. Daedalus didn't eat people, but he was still a craftsman.
According to myth, he did lead to his child getting killed, though.
It's fair. And, Wheatus is a pseudonym, so I would assume that most places that we end up finding a name or a word that was common in Greek myth, it's probably a pseudonym. What I find most odd is the date on the telegram. It's June 29th, but it's dated for August 31st.
Yes, and the last two digits on the year are smudged, so it's a little bit hard to tell if it's dated for later or for the past.
Either way, it's rather odd that she would have it on her.
Yes. If it's post-dated, why? If it's almost a year old, why would she still be carrying it?
Who do they mean at the end in the PS?
What
don't
if
know.
the date isn't the date of the telegram, but a date that something important is about to happen, or is supposed to happen?
There's multiple days in the telegram.
I'm talking about the date up at the top, though.
I mean, typically the dates up at the top are filled in by the person who receives the telegram at the office. It's not something someone, designates. Unless it's to be delivered later. At which point, why did she have it so soon?
Could be a notice to be sent after an event happens.
There's a lot happening here, and it seems like we don't have all the pieces yet. Maybe we can check in on some of the other stuff we heard about. And possibly grab some food. We do have to take care of ourselves as well.
I want to look more into this lantern at some point.
The what?
Oh,
The lighthouse.
No, the lantern. It's, I heard a couple of children talking about it on the on the college grounds. Did a bit of research. It seems to be some sort of like warmth, but not like a warmth that like a regular light would or a candle would give you. Almost like a it's like some way of embodiment of like a warmth. I heard a couple of the kids talking about a dream that they had. One that might correlate with almost correlate with what we all dreamt about last night. And I'm wondering if this lantern thing has anything to do with it.
Yes.
Nonetheless, I think it might do us some good to have a bit more research. Not that.
If I'm being completely honest, looking into this lighthouse might get us close to the answer you're looking for as well. At least reading through these notes and all of the things that seem to surround it, especially in the past.
Lighthouse, and unfortunately, it's not the nicest, but there was a graveyard.
Oh, yes, I do
Graveyards
believe
are-
we should. I'm going to be completely honest, I'm far more comfortable around dead bodies than books.
I'm far more comfortable around dead bodies than most alive bodies.
I've never seen. And I'd
Well-
like to keep it that way.
Well, hopefully we don't have to either dig any up or create any more.
Oh, but wouldn't it be so interesting if we had to?
No.
Not particularly.
No, the ones that are buried can stay there.
Maybe just in and out and then to the lighthouse, but the lighthouse seems pretty well. It seems we'd need to take a boat to the lighthouse as well. But wait, let me look at the map again. Yeah, it looked like we'd have to take a boat to the to the lighthouse. Perhaps we can get Mr. Bruno to drive us to that part of town?
Would also give us a chance to look in on the current manifests for the ships coming in and out of port.
Yeah. So, graveyard or...
Food first.
Okay, so food, graveyard, and lighthouse? / ship?
You all can get your food. I'm gonna get a head start on the graveyard. I'm not particularly hungry right now.
You're going to go alone.
Graveyards don't scare me.
That's not graveyards I'm worried about.
It was vandalized. What if...
I'll go with her.
I'm stopping at you a snack on the way there.
I'm going to be completely honest, this is more than I've eaten in a single day in quite a while.
Hey, just be careful. There's weird stuff happening here. Well, weird, but also kind of interesting. But weird.
Weird is what I do. You have
Okay.
your some of you have your books, some of you have your parties. I have my weird.
Oh, and if anybody's up for it, potentially tomorrow, I'd like to check out the casino.
I would be very much interested in going to this.
Jade looks excited a little bit because she's never been to a casino, but she's also kind of like, I don't really want this ruining my parent reputation. So she kind of like ducks down a little bit, but she's still kind of like, oh, well, maybe if I... No. She's kind of doing a thing where she's like perking up and then like sitting down, perking up and like sitting down.
Oh, don't be silly. Of course you're coming. Someone's got to teach you how to have a good time. Life is not all droll.
Yeah, I'm good at probability, so I'm sure I could figure out casinos and gambling and betting money.
I'd advise you to not lean too heavily on probability.
But
No, the
isn't that
best part
point?
about going the best part about going to the casino is the party atmosphere, darling.
Okay.
Not to mention, I suspect we'll run into at least a few handsome officers.
Yeah, that sounds fun too.
Making your way to your various preferred locations at the moment. Those going to dinner are able to easily find a small cafe that is open for lunch/early dinner. And those of you heading to the Arab graveyard are able to get there fairly easily. There are still a number of police officers there currently looking into the vandalism.
Well,
Including one that sees Aurora Roberts and is quick to come over and say, you are Miss Roberts, yes?
Yes, I am.
Can you truly speak to the dead? My father passed away during the war. I was hoping to connect with him one more time. I can pay, and he just quickly works to pull out a pound from his pockets.
You know what? You let me have some time in this graveyard to connect with what I need to connect with, and I'll give you the reading. How about that? I'll try
Of
to connect you
course.
to your father.
Of course. Take your time.
And Clara can see that the moment that they get into this graveyard, Aurora looks a little bit maybe too much at ease.
oh, good. Don't worry. Clara's the exact opposite at the presence of police.
All right, darling. How about this? Is your you said your father, correct?
Yes.
Is your father here with us? Like, is his
He was
grave
buried
here?
here, yes.
Take me to his grave.
And he will do so, leaving Clara an opening to investigate.
Perfect.
And I'm gonna turn back and just shoot her a wink, and then I'm gonna go.
Very well. Clara, Are you perhaps looking for specifically the vandalized grave?
Yes.
Give me a roll of scoundrel as it pertains to vandalism.
Mother fuck.
That is not a success, I believe.
Oh.
Would you like to try to change it?
I would like to try to call upon the Lionsmith. The destruction of, in this case, the sword in front, which, while it may not be exactly what it represents, some might call vandalism an act of rebellion.
It's true. It's true. What die are you going to be taking?
What was the lowest? I looked and yeah, D6. Yeah.
Feel free to roll.
Not success.
On a success, you can tell that this vandalism was not done even with any sort of tools. No chisels, no sledgehammers, no nothing. This was brute, physical, bodily strength. Like the actual headstone was grabbed and ripped from the ground and then smashed in half.
Well, that's not what I was expecting.
There is something interesting, though. There also seem to be flowers fresh on the grave. They are small, white, and delicate, with a sweet and heavy scent, floral scent.
I would like to take one of these flowers.
Okay. You are quickly able to do so without getting too much trouble. But that's about all that's left for you to be able to do. Miss Roberts, could you please give me either a stagecraft roll, or if you're wanting to actually speak to the young officer's father, a roll of night arts.
Let's try night arts. I want to see if let's see what a little bit of the night will give me. Ooh, I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna change that roll. I'm gonna take away that 90. And let's see. What do we got?
Sun and Rags, Red Grail.
Yeah, I think. I think I'm gonna take the D6 from the Sun and Rags. Trying to kind of like pierce through the veil and like see what might not be there to the naked eye.
Very well.
All right. D6. Come on, baby. I mean, no matter what, I'm gonna pass, but like, you know. 49.
Alrighty. So, with a 49, you open yourself to the powers that be. You pull from the silence of nowhere, from the silence of winter, and a chill goes across your face, and your eyes open, and they are like snow. And you can see the ghost of this man's father, still in uniform from having taken part in World War I, with bullet holes across his chest, looking at his son and saluting in respect and pride of the man his son has become.
Your father is very proud of you. Taking on such a prestigious job. World War One, huh?
The police officer is now shaking and looks to be on the verge of tears. And he just nods.
Don't cry, son. He watches over you. And stands in a salute. I want to reach out to the father.
He looks to you and
contact.
he looks to you and he takes your hand and he shakes it in a firm and thankful manner. No words said, just a feeling of thanks.
He knows that I can see him. And is there anything you want to say to your father?
He looks to where you're looking, and he says a few words in Arabic. Do you speak Arabic?
A little bit.
The words that you're able to make out with what little you know are, thank you, and the final word is forgive. And the final words are forgive me.
Any reaction from the father?
Just a small smile and a strict end of the salute, a disciplined, like, I've given you my respect and now I will move on. And he begins to fade.
He's giving you his respects. He seems to be proud and forgiving. That last word was in Arabic.
He presses the pound that he was going to offer you into your hand, and silently, with tears still streaming down his face,
Oh no.
moves away.
Take your pound back. I don't need it. I told you. You let me have a few moments here to get my research and connect with what I need to connect with, and I was more than happy to let you have a moment with your father.
Thank you, Miss Roberts.
You're welcome.
As he steps away, and you let the chill subside and let your body return to the heat of life again, the pulling from nowhere leaves darkness within your mind, and you are at risk of dread.
Let's go, baby! One step closer to the edge. Ghost, are you winning, son? Oh no. So do I just put like a tick or something in the dread box?
Yes, and then we will go ahead, and then we will take care of that a little bit later.
Okay. Well, have you know, I just marked the first box of my dread with ah.
Yeah, it's fair.
I am going to then go back to find Clara.
You're easily able to do so, working to avoid any other police officers, as Clara has found a small and secluded spot to be away from the police.
I don't think they're going to bother us much. I managed to buy us a little bit of time.
Well, I think well, if our theories hold true, I believe that it was the very same person that broke into the house that decided to... Now, vandalism's not quite the right word for what they did to the grave. They tore the headstone out of the ground and split it in half.
Mm.
Although
My...
somebody did leave flowers recently.
I think it might have been Gwendolyn.
I don't know.
It makes the most sense. I mean, to be fair, that for what she might know, that was her father. You know,
Yeah.
I wonder if his ghost is here.
I imagine that's something we should probably look into a bit later in the evening, when there aren't police patrolling looking into what's going on.
Maybe. At least a couple of them are aware that I'm who I am.
Better they recognize you than me.
Them recognizing me might not be a good thing, though. You know, a lot of people tend to look at my kind and think that we're just crazy or faking it. And you know, I won't lie. A couple of times I've embellished to earn a quick buck. But I see things. Things that leave bleak thoughts in my mind afterwards for a little while.
That certainly doesn't seem like the most enjoyable time.
It's not the most enjoyable, but sometimes it's the most enlightening.
It hardly seems worth it.
Like I said, some people have the books, some people have the parties, I have my weird. Maybe it might be bleak for now, but who knows? If I can catch his ghost, or his spirit, or his aura, that might lead us into getting even further than a couple of scraps of paper. You're getting a chance to interact with the dead guy himself.
That certainly seems like it's worth a shot.
There's a lot of enlightenment in death. So.
Oh, and speaking of where we each have our own thing, that Mr. Lewis fellow at the hotel, I wouldn't trust him for the time being. Don't know if he's untrustworthy or if he's in a similar boat as me, but it seems he's fallen to the wrong side of someone or something.
I'm not very quick to trust people. We needed a room and I needed a fun time. There's a difference between looking for a bit of stress relief and falling at the pitifulness, I guess, for lack of a better term, of trusting somebody you just met.
I'll have to inform the others of this, too. I'd rather not have to kill anyone for getting in our way.
You and I make an interesting team, Miss Clara.
We certainly do.
Are you going to call upon the powers to try to speak to Dr. Farouk, or are you leaving it for now?
Not quite yet. I'm gonna wait until later on when there might be less of a police presence around us.
Fair enough. It's getting closer to the deeper into the evening, and at this point, as the sun has begun to set and it has become dusk, I would like everyone, regardless of where you are, who is at risk of dread, to please roll determination.
Who,
Which
me?
I believe that's everyone, since people were also getting risk of dread from looking at the forceps covered in copper.
Yeah. It's one thing I can do, it's not suffer dread or fascination.
We looked at forceps covered in copper?
Did we?
Yeah, they were with
Yes.
the postcard.
Well, they were splattered with copper as opposed to being splattered with blood.
I think I'm okay.
I'm okay.
Everyone who's rolling under their determination is okay.
Dread her? I barely know her.
Jade ends up suffering from dread and fascination at the same time.
At the same time.
Oh yeah, no, I'm solid.
You are absolutely fine. As the night begins to settle in, the dread that was in the back of everyone's mind just begins to fade away, pushed out by focus on the investigation, or perhaps in some cases by the light that burns it away. It is getting closer to deeper in the evening when it's after dinner, and it gets closer and closer to the time when it would probably be best to go to your rooms at La Metropole for the evening. Was there a plan to meet up at La Metropole to reconvene before heading to sleep, or was there just we'll meet when we meet?
I'm pretty sure that a couple of us wanted to meet up and then talk about maybe going to the graveyard too.
Of course.
I was going to point out we've only got about 5 minutes.
Yeah. So I was going to try to...
I'm happy with just meeting at the hotel.
Yep, I think it'd be the easiest.
Fair enough. So meeting at La Metropole, you all are able to reconvene and get a bit more settled in when you hear a number of noises. You hear distant shouting, the gathering noise of a crowd, and someone busts into La Metropole and throws in a bundle of stacked newspapers, fresh off the presses.
Oh, grab one?
That can't be good.
Yeah, I'll also grab one. Or at least Jade will try to grab one, but she'll let people go in front of her and go until eventually she's like, oh no, you can go. No, you can go. And then
I'm just
eventually,
gonna
hopefully,
look
she
over-
grabs one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look over Clara's shoulder. I'm not getting in that mess.
The newspapers are still warm as you pick them up and read them. It is the newest special edition of the Egyptian Gazette.
Yep, that's unfortunate.
Abduction in plain sight. Huh. Well,
We were just at the university.
You were.
And we were told she wasn't there.
You were.
I will say these newspapers are really crap at getting their dates. The year's smudged again.
At least the date's correct.
huh. Well, it seems like we know there's enough proof that something is definitely going.
I think we might owe the dean another visit in the near future.
And Miss Jade, Dean practically worships at her feet.
I guess it's time to use my charm?
That sounds like we'd let me handle things, and I imagine nobody wants that.
Well, we can both go. Good cop, bad cop.
There's likely to actually be quite a bit of police around the university tomorrow.
This is true.
Might be for the best of those of us who are already in the eyes of the cops. Keep away.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I haven't had nearly enough to drink for any of this.
Is there such thing as enough to drink for this?
Maybe it's a good time for us to
I intend to find out.
rest our minds. Hopefully. Well, I mean, I'm gonna stay up and do a little bit more reading, but maybe it's a good time we hit the hay.
I agree. Although, again, I do advise, try to get at least some sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So, those of you who are heading to bed, who is going to perform any sort of act to protect themselves this evening?
No.
Nothing from Jade?
No, she's gonna read until she falls asleep.
Okay.
Read
Roberts?
/ compare all the notes until she falls asleep.
Fair enough.
Aurora's gonna do. How far away are we from the graveyard?
10-minute walk. You could probably get there.
Okay. Aurora is going to do something a little bit funky and fresh and fun. She's gonna get up from her room with whoever she's crashing with, because I think we only got 3 rooms. And she's going to take a brief 10-minute walk down to the graveyard, and she's gonna see if she can connect with Dr. Farouk.
Give me a night arts roll with at advantage because it is so deep into the evening.
Okay.
I'd say if we're sharing rooms again.
I am going to re-roll that 9. Let me see. Oh, well, you can keep going.
Oh, if we're sharing rooms again, Jade is definitely going to follow her.
I gotta check to see what we got. I would like to roll. I'd like to take one of the D4s from the Red Grail. This being something that she's extremely passionate about trying to connect with. It feels like the passion that's growing in her and the need and the desire to discover might fit well in with that.
Of course, go ahead.
Okay. 46, which is a success.
You let that same cold wash over you again. But something is very wrong. Something is horrendously wrong. At his grave, where you still see a number of those similar white flowers, there isn't a ghost. There is a sort of light essence that has been left behind. While sickness took him physically, something came through and took what was left of his spirit and burned it away.
Just gonna grab a pad and a pad of paper and a pen, and she's gonna start writing down in detail what she's seeing. Like, can she like feel like that there's just like no essence of his soul left whatsoever?
It's not even just that there's no essence of a soul, there's no essence of what should be there. It is like you can feel emptiness there.
Oh my. And with that, she's going to write up what she saw, put it away. And she's just gonna do that thing that she did last night. She's gonna leave herself open because they're right near the grave site when they get home. She's just gonna leave herself right open to the to try to connect with like maybe a spirit or two in her dreams, and that's her. Gonna perform that weird ritual again. That weird "come and get me, ghosts, it's your boy" ritual.
When you all drift off to sleep, Jade a little later than others, but when you all do finally go deep into sleep, you have another dream. You all are within Loretta's house, but everything is crystalline. There is a soft evening glow that suffuses absolutely everything with this golden light. You can hear the distant cry of a baby that pierces this like wind chime sort of sound going all around you. And you can hear the laughter of a woman, bright and sunny, following it. You can see a human silhouette hunched close to the floor, scrabbling at a desk. And you can see the gentle father lift his hand and burn him away. Light just taking over the silhouette and leaving behind nothingness. The father turning to look at all of you with a bright smile and a woman on his arm. A woman you all know to be the Weeping Mother with poppies in her hair. Both the gentle father and the Weeping Mother hold an arm out to all of you, outstretched, beckoning you all in for an embrace.
Nope. Hard fucking pass.
No.
Yeah, I think Crazy will take the hug.
Yeah. Jade's gonna move forward.
Okay. As you embrace them, it feels warm and right, like your own parents embracing you lovingly. And a sharp, burning pain and the feeling of being crushed wakes you all up.
Everybody,
And-
even those of us who didn't hug them?
Those of you who didn't hug them feel the burning pain, but not the crushing.
Okay.
Those of you who rejected them, Clara and Margaret, awaken with a great sense of longing for absent loved ones. Jade and Aurora, you wake up with a profound sense of happiness once again. But a sense that there is a longing for that embrace once more that may affect you in the coming day. I would like everyone to please roll determination to resist fascination once more.
Oh no.
Heck yeah.
Fine.
Nope.
Letting it ride, Jade, or are you going to try to undo it?
So. So this roll is me trying to trying to push past this feeling, correct?
Yes, it is. It is you trying to push off this risk of fascination that you got from the dream.
And for the character herself, it's just like this giddy, happy feeling.
Yeah, kind of like you've been hugged. Kind of like your mother has hugged you tightly.
I understand why I rolled so low. Aurora doesn't have parents.
I'm actually going to take this number because I think Jade's like, this is the first time in so long I've actually had such good sleep. That she's like, I miss this. Like,
Jade.
I'm not afraid to go to sleep anymore.
Jade, you do not have the fear of sleep, but you do have something else, a unique craving for comfort. And that will be marked as your second level of fascination.
Noted.
I would like to call upon the Lionsmith to almost physically fight against this feeling, and re-roll one of those d6s to re-roll the 80.
By all means.
Cool, I'm good.
Okay. And the newest hour of the regard for the day is the moth itself.